Did you know that research from the National Institute on Aging reveals something surprising? After age 60, the average person spends more mental energy dwelling on past regrets than imagining future possibilities. The weight of emotional baggage, scientists have found, can actually impact our physical health just as much as carrying around extra pounds. Let me tell you about Dorothy. She is 74 years old, and last month she did something that shocked her entire neighborhood. She painted her front door bright yellow. Not because it matched anything, not because it was trendy, simply because every time she looked at it, it made her heart feel lighter. For decades, Dorothy had lived by everyone else's rules. Beige walls because they were safe. Quiet voices because ladies should not be loud. Conservative clothes because that is what was appropriate for her age. But then, one Tuesday morning, while drinking her coffee, she asked herself a question that changed everything. What would make me happy today? And then there is Frank, 67, a retired accountant who spent 40 years doing everything by the book, following every rule, meeting every expectation. But 6 months ago, something remarkable happened. Frank walked into his local community center and signed up for pottery classes. His hands, which once only knew calculators and spreadsheets, now shape clay into beautiful bowls. And for the first time in years, Frank feels truly alive. This video is dedicated to every Dorothy, Frank, or Helen watching right now who is ready to write a brand new chapter of their story. We are exploring 9 deeply ingrained beliefs that might be holding you back from experiencing the freedom, peace, and joy you deserve in your golden years. Welcome to Senior Health Facts, your trusted home for science-backed, heart-centered guidance for life after 60. If you believe in growing healthier, wiser, and more liberated with each passing year, please hit that subscribe button and join our community of empowered seniors. As we journey through our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our bodies naturally change. But here is what many people do not realize. Our minds, our emotional patterns, and our belief systems can transform too. The question is, are we letting them evolve in ways that serve us, or are we clinging to outdated expectations that weigh us down? Many of us carry invisible burdens. Beliefs we absorbed decades ago about what is appropriate for our age, what others expect from us, or what we should be doing. These are not just harmless thoughts floating in our minds. According to research published by Harvard Health, holding on to rigid self-concepts and emotional baggage after 60 can lead to increased inflammation in the body, higher stress hormones, and decreased life satisfaction. Think of it this way. Imagine a magnificent hot air balloon trying to rise into a beautiful sky. But it is weighed down by heavy sandbags tied to its basket. Those sandbags represent the outdated beliefs and expectations we carry. The balloon has everything it needs to soar, but it cannot reach its potential until those weights are released. The beautiful truth is this: letting go is not about losing something important. It is about making room for what truly matters. When we release beliefs that no longer serve us, we create space for authentic joy, deeper connections, and a sense of freedom that many people never experience even in their younger years. Here is the first belief to consider releasing: the idea that your worth depends on what other people think. Research published in the Journal of Gerontology shows that emotional independence naturally strengthens after age 60, but only if we allow it to happen. Dorothy, the woman I mentioned earlier, spent years choosing beige because it was safe and would not draw attention. She dressed conservatively because she worried about whispers from neighbors. But when she finally painted that yellow door, something magical happened. The neighbors did not gossip. They smiled. Some even asked for the paint color because it brightened their whole street. Ask yourself, have you ever stayed quiet in a conversation agreeing with something you did not believe just to avoid creating waves? Have you chosen clothes activities or even friends based on what you thought others expected rather than what brought you joy? The second belief to reconsider is that more possessions equal more security or happiness. Princeton University research confirms that physical clutter actually interferes with our brain's ability to focus and find emotional peace. When our homes are filled with items we no longer use or love, our minds feel cluttered too. Consider Frank's story. When he retired, his garage was so packed with important items that he could not even park his car inside. Old tax returns from 1987, exercise equipment he had used twice, boxes of books he had never read again. But when Frank decided to learn pottery, he needed space for his new passion. He spent one weekend each month for 3 months slowly sorting through his belongings. Now his garage houses a small pottery wheel, and he parks his car inside for the first time in 15 years. Be honest with yourself. Is your home filled with things you have not touched in years? Are you keeping items out of guilt or obligation rather than joy or usefulness? The third belief to examine is that saying yes to every social invitation makes you a good person. The Harvard Adult Development Study, which has followed people for over 80 years, proves definitively that the quality of our relationships matters far more than the quantity. Helen, 69, used to attend every church committee meeting, every neighborhood gathering, every family event, regardless of how she felt afterward. She believed that good people always said yes. But Helen noticed that many of these gatherings left her feeling drained rather than energized. When she started choosing more carefully, attending only events that truly nourished her spirit, her energy returned and her genuine friendships deepened. Reflect on this. Are you still attending gatherings, accepting invitations, or maintaining commitments that leave you feeling more tired than uplifted? Remember, saying no to what does not serve you means saying yes to what does. The fourth belief to reconsider is that aging is something to fight against rather than embrace. Every line on your face tells a story of laughter, wisdom, or challenges overcome. Research published in Psychological Science found that people who practice self-acceptance around aging experience better health outcomes and greater life satisfaction. Consider Sarah, 73. For years, she spent hours and hundreds of dollars each month trying to hide every sign of aging. Hair coloring, expensive creams, clothes that hid her changing body. But last year, Sarah decided to let her silver hair grow out naturally. Instead of spending those hours at the salon, she started taking dance classes. The confidence she gained from moving her body joyfully made her glow more than any product ever had. Ask yourself, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and smiled with genuine appreciation for the body that has carried you through decades of life? The fifth belief to examine is that consistency means never changing your interests. Just because you played bridge every Tuesday for 20 years does not mean you have to continue if it no longer brings you joy. Our interests can evolve as we do. Meet Patricia, 76, one of our wonderful viewers who shared her story. For decades, Patricia spent her afternoons watching television, partly from habit and partly because she thought that is what retirees did. But Patricia had always been curious about watercolors. At 74, she finally enrolled in a beginner-is art class at her local senior center. Today, Patricia is paintings hang in her local library, and she is teaching watercolor basics to other seniors. And there is Thomas, 72. He spent years feeling obligated to attend weekly poker games with the same group of men, even though the conversations had become repetitive and sometimes negative. When Thomas discovered a local book club, he found intellectual stimulation and more positive social connections. Consider this. What is something you have always wanted to try but never pursued? What current activity could you release to make room for new growth? The sixth belief to release is that family bonds or long history means you must tolerate relationships that consistently drain your energy or bring negativity into your life. Dr. Laura Carstensen from Stanford's Center on Longevity explains that as we age, we naturally begin to prioritize relationships that bring us joy and gradually distance ourselves from those that create stress. This does not mean cutting people out of your life harshly, but it does mean setting healthy boundaries. You deserve peace in your relationships, not constant guilt criticism or drama. Ask yourself honestly, are you maintaining any relationships primarily out of habit, guilt, or obligation, rather than genuine connection and mutual respect? The seventh belief to examine is that success means keeping up with others or measuring your life against someone else is achievements. Social media can be particularly toxic for this, showing us carefully curated highlight reels of other people's lives. Instead of comparison, research published in Aging and Mental Health shows that gratitude practices significantly boost mood and self-esteem in older adults. When we focus on appreciating our own unique journey, we find contentment that comparison never provides. Reflect on this. Are you measuring your retirement, your health, your relationships, or your activities against someone else's seemingly perfect life? The eighth belief to reconsider is that changing your dreams means giving up or failing. The corner office you once wanted, the big house you thought you needed, the extensive travel plans you made decades ago. These goals served a purpose then, but it is perfectly healthy for your priorities to evolve. Maybe what you want now is simpler. A small garden where you can grow tomatoes, quiet mornings with good books, or regular video calls with grandchildren. There is profound wisdom in adjusting your goals to match who you are today, rather than who you were 20 years ago. Consider this. Does your current to-do list reflect who you are today, or is it filled with obligations based on who you used to be? The ninth and perhaps most important belief to release is that taking care of yourself is selfish. Self-care is not indulgence. It is essential maintenance for your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you deserve to have your own cup filled. When was the last time you did something purely for your own enjoyment, without feeling guilty about it? When did you last say no to a request because you needed rest, or yes to an activity simply because it made you smile? Instead of living by others' opinions, practice sharing your authentic thoughts and feelings at least once each day. Start small. Express a genuine preference about where to eat dinner, or share an opinion about a book you are reading. Notice how liberating it feels to speak your truth with kindness and confidence. Dorothy discovered that when she stopped hiding her vibrant personality behind beige walls and conservative choices, people were drawn to her authenticity. Her yellow door became a conversation starter that led to deeper friendships with neighbors. Rather than holding on to possessions out of habit, try this gentle approach. Choose one small area each week to evaluate. Hold each item and ask yourself, does this bring me joy or serve a current purpose in my life? If the answer is no, consider donating it to someone who might truly benefit from it. Frank found that as he cleared physical space in his garage, he also felt mental space opening up. The energy he had been spending managing and worrying about all his possessions was freed up for creative pursuits like pottery. Instead of saying yes to every social obligation, create what I call a joy list. People and activities that consistently leave you feeling energized, appreciated, and happy. Prioritize these connections and gradually reduce time spent with people or in situations that drain your energy. Helen discovered that when she attended fewer but more meaningful gatherings, she had better conversations, formed deeper connections, and felt more socially fulfilled than when her calendar was packed with obligatory events. Rather than fighting the aging process, practice celebrating each year as a badge of honor and wisdom. Take photos that capture your authentic self. Wear colors and styles that make you feel vibrant. Share stories of your experiences with younger people who can benefit from your wisdom. Sarah found that when she stopped trying to look 20 years younger and started embracing her natural silver hair and the confidence that comes with life experience, she felt more beautiful than she had in decades. Instead of staying locked into old hobbies that no longer spark joy, investigate new interests. Many communities offer senior classes in art, music, writing, gardening, or technology. Libraries often host book clubs, and community centers may have hobby groups you have never considered. Patricia's watercolor journey did not just give her a new skill. It connected her with a community of fellow artists and gave her a sense of accomplishment and growth that energized her entire outlook on life. Rather than tolerating relationships that consistently bring negativity, practice setting gentle but firm boundaries. You might say something like, "I prefer not to discuss negative topics during our visits. Could we talk about something more positive?" Or, "I have decided to limit my social commitments to activities that energize me." Remember, boundaries are not walls. They are gates with you holding the keys. Instead of comparing your life to others, start each morning by writing down 3 specific things you are grateful for from the previous day. Research shows this practice literally rewires your brain to notice positive aspects of your own life rather than focusing on what others appear to have. Studies demonstrate that people who practice gratitude sleep better, have stronger immune systems, and report higher life satisfaction. Rather than pursuing outdated goals that no longer fit, create what I call a right now list instead of a traditional bucket list. What would bring you joy this month? This season? This year? Your dreams are allowed to evolve as you do. Maybe your new dream is having fresh flowers on your kitchen table every week, learning to use video chat to stay connected with family, or reading one good book each month. These smaller, present-focused goals can bring daily satisfaction. Instead of feeling guilty about taking care of yourself, literally, put self-care appointments on your calendar. Whether it is 30 minutes of gardening, a weekly coffee date with yourself, or time for prayer and reflection, treat these appointments as seriously as you would a doctor's visit. Your well-being matters not just for your own sake, but because when you are rested, fulfilled, and healthy, you have more energy and joy to share with the people you love. Let me tell you how Dorothea's story continued. She did not transform her life overnight. It started with one small act of courage, painting that yellow door. But that single choice created a ripple effect. The next week, she wore a purple scarf she had kept hidden in her closet for years because she thought it was too bold. The week after that, she started taking evening walks around her neighborhood instead of watching television reruns. Then she struck up conversations with neighbors she had only waved to before. And Frank. His pottery journey began with just 15 minutes in his garage clearing out one small corner. He did not start by enrolling in classes or buying expensive equipment. He simply made space for possibility. That small space grew into his creative sanctuary, and those first hesitant touches of clay became works of art that now fill his home with beauty and pride. You deserve this same freedom. You deserve to wake up each morning excited about the day ahead, rather than weighed down by obligations that no longer serve you. You deserve relationships that energize you, activities that spark joy, and the permission to be authentically yourself. Your life experience, your wisdom, your unique perspective. These are gifts that the world needs. But first, you need to give yourself permission to unwrap them. Here is my challenge for you. Choose just one belief from today's list that resonated with you. Just one dot. Maybe it is the weight of others' opinions or guilt about self-care or loyalty to an activity that no longer brings you joy. In the comments below, complete this sentence. I am ready to let go of. Do not overthink it. Trust your first instinct. And then take one small action this week that honors your authentic self. If you found value in today's message, please subscribe to Senior Health Facts so you do not miss the next step in your journey toward greater freedom and joy. Your best years do not have to be behind you. They might just be beginning. A common question I hear is whether it is really possible to make new friends at 70 or older. Absolutely, and research supports this beautifully. Many seniors form their strongest, most meaningful friendships later in life because they have developed better emotional intelligence and know what they value in relationships. Look into local senior centers, volunteer organizations, hobby groups, or faith communities. The key is showing up consistently to activities you genuinely enjoy. Friendship grows naturally from shared interests and repeated positive interactions. Another question involves handling guilt when starting to say no to family requests or obligations. Start by remembering that setting boundaries often improves relationships rather than damaging them. When you are well rested and energized because you have honored your own needs, you can show up more fully for the commitments you do choose to keep. Begin with loving language like I care about you and I need to limit my commitments right now to take care of my health. Most family members respect honesty more than resentful compliance. Some wonder what to do if they feel completely stuck in habits maintained for decades. Change does not have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Try what researchers call micro-changes. Tiny shifts that do not feel overwhelming. Take a different route on your daily walk. Try one new food each week. Rearrange one small area of your home. These small changes actually create new neural pathways in your brain and can lead to larger transformations over time. People ask how to know if a relationship is truly toxic or just going through a difficult period. Pay attention to how you feel consistently after spending time with this person. Healthy relationships, even during challenging times, should leave you feeling heard, respected, and valued most of the time. Toxic relationships consistently leave you feeling drained, criticized, or walking on eggshells. Trust your emotional responses. They are usually more accurate than logical explanations. Finally, many ask if it is too late to pursue something they have always wanted to try. It is never too late to learn, grow, or try something new. Research shows that learning new skills actually helps maintain cognitive function and can improve overall life satisfaction. The key is starting with beginner-friendly options and focusing on enjoyment rather than perfection. Many communities offer senior-specific classes that move at a comfortable pace and celebrate progress over competition. Let me share a helpful summary of what we have discussed today. First, consider releasing the belief that others' opinions control your choices because it drains authentic self-expression and energy. Instead, practice speaking one truth daily, which brings increased confidence and genuine connections. Second, examine the idea that you must keep everything just in case. This creates mental clutter and overwhelm. Replace this with weekly gentle decluttering of one small area for clearer thinking and a peaceful environment. Third, reconsider that you must attend every social obligation. This leads to exhaustion and resentful relationships. Choose quality connections over quantity for more energy and meaningful relationships. Fourth question: the belief that aging is something to fight. This creates shame and impossible standards. Celebrate wisdom and life experience instead for self-acceptance and natural confidence. Fifth, examine whether you must stick with old hobbies forever. This prevents growth and discovery. Explore one new interest per season for intellectual stimulation and renewed purpose. Sixth, release the idea that you must tolerate difficult relationships. This increases stress and inflammation. Set loving boundaries instead for emotional peace and better health. Seventh question: whether life success means keeping up with others. This breeds dissatisfaction and inadequacy. Practice daily gratitude for contentment with your personal journey. Eighth, examine whether old goals must still be pursued. This creates pressure and irrelevant stress. Create a right-now dream list for joy and relevance in daily activities. Ninth, release the belief that self-care is selfish. This leads to burnout and resentment. Schedule regular me time for renewed energy to serve others. For your daily routine, try this gentle approach. Each morning, write down 3 gratitudes from yesterday and do gentle stretching while appreciating your body is service. At lunch, eat mindfully without distractions and call or text someone who energizes you. Each evening, spend 15 minutes on gentle decluttering or journaling about one small joy from the day. As a bonus, take one weekly solo walk for reflection or try one small new thing each week. Save this summary and share it with someone who is ready to embrace their most authentic, liberated years yet. Now, before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something important that comes from my heart. Everything we have shared today is for educational purposes to help you make informed choices about your emotional well-being and life satisfaction. The stories I have shared about Dorothy Frank and others represent common experiences many seniors have, though individual results and circumstances always vary. I always encourage you to work with your healthcare provider counselor or trusted advisor before making any significant changes to your lifestyle or relationships, especially if you are dealing with depression, anxiety, or major life transitions. They know your personal health history and family situation best and can guide you on what approaches might work best for your specific circumstances. Every person's journey is unique, and what brought joy and freedom to Dorothy and Frank might need thoughtful adjustments for your particular situation and relationships. Your healthcare team, along with trusted friends and family members, are your best partners in this journey toward a lighter heart and more authentic life. Take care of yourself with the same kindness you would show a dear friend, and I will see you in the next video.